But so so the slave ship is on what? Is it on the bottom of it? Where they hear the sound?
Alright guys,
Alright girl.
Boom.
We're leaving. I'll let you know when we make it home.
We are
right,
walking towards the here we go. Boom. We're walking towards the museum right now, and I'm going handheld because I don't have a permit, and to look more like a tourist I have to leave the Joby Gorilla Pod in the car, but I do have my microphone on board so we can get good audio. So we'll see how this works out, get better footage for you guys, and we'll get the stuff that we weren't able to get yesterday. And the key part of this mission is to get the slave ship. So we're trying to capture the slave ship and get a feel of that for you guys. So here's the museum right here. So it's very bright here. Can't really tell if I'm in focus or not, but it's okay. We're improvising, going guerrilla style so we can get the best video possible. So let's put the stuff away so we can get inside. We're approaching the area where you gotta show your tickets. Alright. First exhibit of the Smithsonian African American Cultural Museum. How's it feeling now? It's the first time in here. Yeah.
The part that we were going to see, unfortunately, is closed. Not sure why. We'll have to come back next time.
So the slave ship, we can't see the slave ship.
We can't see the slave ship. Or the mirror of it.
Or the mirror what?
Mirror of it.
Oh.
Okay, so I think this is where we go?
Is this where? I think this is the...
Managing this ruin to find a way to live life with dignity and a certain amount of nobility.
Those little tiny tables and desks. Printing press. Printing press machine.
There is but one destiny for us, and that is to make ourselves and be ruled by others.
Interesting. What?
Writing a column of the color department of white old. He founded the Philadelphia Tribune. Oldest continuously published black newspaper. Who knew that?
The Philadelphia Tribune is a black newspaper.
Did you know that?
I did not know that. I did not know that. Interesting. And it's the oldest black published newspaper. Wow. Yeah. Did not know that at all. Jesse Owens. LeBron James. At the 1984 Olympic Games, Los Angeles rapper Johnson used his torch to become the first African American to light the Olympic flame. At the 1960 Olympics, Johnson became the first African American to carry the flag of the United States during the opening ceremony. He also won a gold medal in the decathlon in 1960. Gift of Raffer Johnson. Cool. Carl Lewis. He says, the Olympian of the century. Carl Lewis won 10 Olympic medals and 9 are displayed here. Lewis gave his non-medals. Lewis won 2 medals in the men's 100-meter dash, 1 gold and 1 silver medal in the 200-meter dash, 2 gold medals in the 4x1 meter relay. Oh yeah, and 4 medals in the long jump. Gift of Carl Lewis estate. Wow, these are Carl Lewis's U.S. gold medals.
That's what I was thinking of.
Jackie Pearson. These are Carl Lewis's real gold medals.
No way.
Yeah.
Carried a lot of people in a direction that they might have wanted to get off that train.
Who's that, guys?
Because it's also an addiction.
The only avenue of success for us, let certain people tell it, is through music, acting, sports, not usually academics. I feel like that's just such an outdated narrative about African Americans, that all we're about is sports.
Look how big these shoes are. Sheesh. Huge shoes. Look at LeBron James quality Nike shoe. LeBron James wore the black shoe and one white shoe with the word equality on the back in the game of Washington, D.C. in 2017. James has been an athlete who sees it as a responsibility to use his fame, wealth, and platform to fight for our social justice. Gift of LeBron James. Babe, these are LeBron James' real shoes. Look how big his feet are.
His feet are huge.
His feet are dumb huge. It's crazy.
We are in danger.
Look, it's Robin Roberts.
Long hair.
Negro League baseball.
Baseball has done an unbelievable public relation marketing job of whitewashing their racist history. They never talk about Moses Fleetwood Walker, who was in fact the first black major league player for a few weeks in the late 1880s, until he was run out of the game by a guy by the name of Cap Anson, who is considered and is in the Hall of Fame as the most important baseball figure in the 19th century.
That's a very interesting twist on the history. I think can also teach young people that history as we think of it, which is often taught as a sort of steady line of progress. Interestingly, when the first Jim Crow laws were passed, they made a huge point to write into the codes that sports would have to be segregated as well. They knew the power.
Black jockeys. Jimmy Winkfield. Jimmy Winkfield won the Kentucky Derby riding Allan A-Dubb in 1902. Winkfield was the last African American to win the Kentucky Derby. Churchill Downs. Wow.
He wore the undefeated former champion down and won in the 15th round when Jeffrey's corner threw in the towel. Many whites felt humiliated by the outcome of the fight, which disproves stereotypes about African Americans' intelligence and character and toughness.
Jack Johnson. Sheesh, look at this glove.
And 100 were injured. White mobs terrorized African American communities. Fearful that African Americans would be bolstered by Johnson's victory, laws were passed which made it illegal to screen the fight in movie theaters across the country. Despite the backlash, Johnson's victory was the source of pride and potential to a generation of African Americans.
For social justice, workers' rights, and international peace.
Paul Robeson.
When we must have our freedom, not any 100 years, not any 50 years, not any 10 years, now.
As fear intensified during the early days of the Cold War, outspoken critics like Paul Robeson were silenced by the U.S. government. His passport was revoked, and he was blacklisted by the entertainment industry. For years, Robeson was unable to work in the U.S. or travel abroad, but he would not be silenced.
In attacking me, they suggested that when I was
Jesse Owens.
The Globetrotters provide a dribbling demonstration while the other team members catch their breath.
Comedy also helped diffuse racial tension, especially when they were dominating a white team in front of a white crowd. At times, the routines also made the Globetrotters folk heroes for many African Americans, as they managed to invert the racial order by making fun of white officials. Into the 1940s, the Globetrotters and rivals the New York Rens were able to attract the most talented basketball players in the world, including Marquise Haynes and Goose Taylor. In February 1948, the Globetrotters played one of the most important games in basketball history against the NBA champion Minneapolis Lakers. The Globetrotters' victory over the Lakers helped to convince the NBA to accept African-American players. In 1950, several former members of the Harlem Globetrotters integrated the NBA, including Chuck Cooper, Sweetwater Clifton, and Earl Lloyd. Over the years, the Globetrotters developed more dazzling players, among them Curly Neal, Connie Hawkins, Wilt Chamberlain, and Meadowlark Lemon.
Wow.
Today, the Globetrotters are worldwide icons. Still on the road after nearly a century,
Jesse Owens' statue. Oh, okay. The twins?
For Nazi leader Adolf Hitler, Berlin's Olympics was to be a celebration of Aryan supremacy. Owens was one of 18 African Americans to compete in Berlin. Before the Games, he had set several world records as a student at Ohio State. Now, before that historic day, Hitler had never heard of Jesse Owens. After that day, he would never forget it. In the 100-meter race, Jesse Owens tied the world record. Ralph Metcalf, who won second in the 100, would go on to a distinguished career in the U.S. Congress. After his victory, Owens addressed the crowd.
I'm very glad to have won the 100 in the Olympic Games here in Berlin. A very beautiful place and a very beautiful setting. The competition was grand. I was very glad to come out on top. Thank you very kindly.
The following day, Owens set a new Olympic record in the long jump to win his second gold medal. Despite the oppressive nature of the Nazi regime, German fans cheered him on as he sought Olympic immortality.
How you like that tennis racket? How would you like playing that? Oh, it's actually in a frame to preserve it, maybe.
No, I think they...
No, they didn't play like that. That's to preserve it. She doesn't have any talking stuff. Maybe they didn't do film back then.
She's a singer. Oh no.
She's a what?
Singer.
Of course, we got Muhammad Ali up in here. Everybody knows what's going on with Muhammad. That glove is so thin. It's crazy. Wilma Rudolph. Sheesh.
For fellow students from her own university. Wilma Rudolph took over for the last 100 meters to victory. Her 3 gold medals made her the standout figure of the Olympics.
When she returned home from the Olympics, her hometown Clarksville, Tennessee, wanted to host a celebration in her honor. At Rudolph's insistence, the event was not segregated.
Arthur Ashe.
Arthur Ashe's journey as a tennis champion brought him from segregated public courts in Richmond, Virginia, to victory on the center court of Wimbledon. In his two-decade career, Ashe won 33 titles, was the first African-American man to join the U.S. Davis Cup team, the first to win the U.S. Open, and the first to win Wimbledon. He became a tennis prodigy despite Jim Crow laws that restricted his access to elite tennis clubs, which had the best competition and training spaces. While team sports were largely integrated by the late 1960s, tennis remained mostly segregated. Ashe was able to fit in.
Everybody can't get up in here. Jim Brown. A multi-sport star. Jim Brown is a rare athlete that has been elected to Hall of Fames of two different sports. Lacrosse Hall of Fame 1983, Pro Football Hall of Fame 1971, and College Football Hall of Fame 1995. While a student athlete at Syracuse University, Brown ran track and played football, lacrosse, and basketball. Brown also qualified for the 1956 Olympics Games as a decathlete, but chose to prepare for the upcoming NFL season instead. Jim Brown, boy. Sheesh. That's a lot. There go the girls. Y'all already know who that is. Venus and Serena. Eddie Robinson. 1985.
I'll see the goals.
Especially in track and basketball, were important early advocates because they saw sports could be agents of social change. Their efforts helped lead to the passage of Title IX, but gender inequality persisted.
Michael Jordan's on-court success,
We already know.
and unique ability to connect with people made him one of the most powerful brands in the world.
Not gonna say anything about Tiger, but once upon a time he didn't. I'll leave that right there. Tiger, you know what you is.
Months after his historic
Any sport has been undeniable.
We do that too, huh, guys? Awesome. Statues so lifelike.
That ability to entertain and to be charismatic and to also win has been something that we've been blessed to see and blessed to have.
Got the USA on the back, you can see it right there. Pretty dope. Everything down to the ruffles, pretty dope.
These are powerful moments. It speaks to how strong sports is in our society and how many people it has influenced.
What is this? What's behind all these belts?
I already said that. I don't know.
This belt is serious.
Oh. Ezra Charles is heavyweight champion belt.
Ezra Charles?
Who's that?
Doesn't see me indifference to ring fashion.
Ezra Charles' heavyweight championship belt, known as the Cincinnati Cobra.
Tyson's like this big pop.
was the third African-American heavyweight champion. In 1950, Charles beat the Idol Joe Louis by unanimous decision. Gift of Deborah Charles in loving memory of Ezra Charles. This belt is serious. Yeah.
With historically black colleges, I mean, I think people often forget that was our only avenue, both for education and certainly when it came to sports. There was a long history, storied history of HBCUs turning out incredible, talented players.
Like I said, at Grambling, he brought 58 players to the NFL one year.
Over his 57-year career, Eddie Robinson of Grambling put 200 athletes into the National Football League.
The true great white hope position in America is that of quarterback. And now maybe we're beyond, because you can look out there on any given Sunday and see 7, 8, at least, black men playing the position of quarterback.
On the third down, here comes the blitz. Newton puts it up. He's got a man, and he completes it.
That's not the NFL Doug Williams.
Midwives traditionally occupy the prominent position in the African American community, serving as healers and spiritual leaders and maintaining extensive social networks. Henry Boyd's Manufacturing Company. This bed looks really nice. Even right now it looks really nice. Henry Boyd's Manufacturing Company. Born into slavery and Kentucky craftsman and entrepreneur, Henry Boyd, 1802 to 1886, became one of the most successful African American businessmen of the 19th century. From 1983 to 1986, his furniture factory in Cincinnati, Ohio, supplied hotels and households throughout the South and West, with Boyd's bedstand popular for their solid yet easy to assemble design. Boyd's experience illuminates the economic contributions of black entrepreneurs and their role in the struggle for racial equality. Pretty dope. The Boyd family. Richard Henry Boyd. Artifacts and such. What is this? Oh, that's bomb stuff?
Oh, is it? I don't know, something in the textile industry. Sewing machines and some repair shop clothing factory. I don't know what that is.
Oh, firefighting safety hood. Firefighting safety hood.
Oh, that's a really good traffic signal.
Oh, he invented a traffic signal? Garrett Augustus Morgan invented the traffic signal, as well as the firefighting helmet. Pretty interesting stuff here. Black man invented that for firefighters. Cool. There's so much to take in.
Huh?
I said there's so much to take in. Independent Order of St. Luke, originally founded as a relief society for formerly enslaved. The Independent Order of St. Luke became one of the most important, prominent, and successful African American self-help organizers in the segregation era, like other fraternal. Pretty cool artifacts here, guys. What's this? Fraternity stuff. Total Phi Theta. Morgan State. Greek lettering. Alpha Kappa Alpha. Alpha Kappa Alpha. South Street, Philadelphia. That look way different. Oh my gosh. Sheesh. Look at this machine. The Defender, Chicago, Illinois.
The Defender has been an engine of ideas, providing crucial coverage of Chicago's culture.
Wow, look at this machine. All those pulleys. Complicated piece of machinery here.
Thanks to the efforts of determined reformers and the prisoners themselves. And Golden now focuses on rehabilitation.
Sheesh. Oh man.
It boasts a prison radio station and newspaper, which for a time operated free and uncensored.
And we broadcast daily from the Louisiana State Penitentiary and Angola.
Louisiana State Penitentiary.
Angola's hospice program has gained national recognition and provided care and comfort for thousands of men at the end of their lives. Despite these changes, Angola remains a harsh and violent world where a host of reforms are still seeking.
Despite the brutal conditions on rice plantations, generations of enslaved rice growers found ways to keep themselves whole. Secluded in small communities along the rice coast, they created and preserved a unique local language and culture known as Gula Geechee. Their arts, crafts, cuisine, music, and language profoundly influenced Southern culture and grew deeply from West African tradition. In the 20th and 21st centuries, Gullah Geechee communities have sought to deepen the links to Africa and understand the breaks into this long history. Gullah Geechee. I think Wale, this is where the Wale thing comes from, where he always talks about being Geechee. Interesting. Interesting. Wale. Okay.
The special thing about it was that you had kids that was tired of a negative environment and said, this is something good, let's build on it.
Say the hip, hop, the hip, hip, hop.
Superstars, they're not super rich. At one point, a disproportionate number of the black women
Now Station, Indiana.
allowed them to be able to stay here the whole summer.
I grew up in New York City, like so many academics, living in apartments in the Valley, but this was a place that was more a home to me than anything else.
This one I think is really important. So you ought to understand. Land ownership has long been a pathway to political and economic power and a means of control over one's destiny. What some have labeled as American dream, to this day, devotion to the land runs deep in Laos Station. Some families have worked their own farms since before the Civil War. The land means everything.
The entire neighborhood destroyed. The businesses destroyed. All the services destroyed.
Is this it?
Our schools bombed.
This is Tulsa, right?
Oh my gosh.
To move up to the next class, so that the children at home were very devastated.
Oh my god.
With me, the trauma of a young 6-year-old girl, hearing things hitting the house, like that, and thinking it was hail, until my mother took me to the window and let me peer.
To go down to the convention hall, and we had to go all over that way marching, just droves of us. And those police go along with you, telling you to hurry up, hot as it was that day.
I think this is what you were talking about.
Now, when this happened, the mayor and city council at that time shut down the railroads, all telegraph wires, phone systems, and everything. Nothing coming in or out of town until the next day. And they wouldn't even let the Red Cross come in until 2 or 3 days later.
My mother learned through the Muskogee Daily Phoenix that there was a riot in Tulsa and that there were many casualties. For some days she did not know whether my father was living or dead. She finally got a note from him saying that he was unharmed, but that he had been detained in Convention Hall for several days. He said that he could not bring us to Tulsa. The whole town where we would live had been devastated by fires and by murders and by all kinds of activities that prevented a normal procedure in that part of the community.
The damage that was done was not only the material things, a house destroyed, the entire neighborhood destroyed, the businesses destroyed, all the services destroyed. Our school bombed on the day that we should have been getting our report cards to move up to the next class, so that the children of Tulsa were very devastated. Picture with me the trauma of a young 6-year-old girl hearing things hitting the house, bum, 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 like that, and thinking it was hail, until my mother took me to the window and let me peer through the blinds and said, that thing up there on the stand with the American flag on top of it is a machine gun, and those are bullets hitting the house, and that means your country is shooting at you.
Spear, gun, sword, musket, African American battle in New Orleans Navy.
In 1861, the issue of slavery threatened to tear the nation apart.
Black Patriots.
For African Americans, it was for less than they demanded. In 1896, the Supreme Court upheld such laws as constitutional. Despite the restrictions, Buffalo soldiers continued to serve with distinction. And at the dawn of the 20th century, they were sent far afield to the Spanish-American War in Cuba, to the Philippines, and to Mexico, in a military and a society designed to keep them segregated. Were among the first U.S. troops to land on Iwo Jima, and the 93rd Division saw combat throughout the Pacific. After D-Day, the drivers of the Red Ball Express convoyed supplies to the front lines, fueling the Allied push into the heart of occupied Europe. On the Western Front, the 761st Tank Battalion helped repel German troops during the Battle of the Bulge.
D-Day, June 6, 1944. Sheesh. June 6, 1944.
That's Pearl Harbor?
D-Day. Pearl Harbor. This place, you gotta, this don't, not even 2 days. You gotta come here, just take a couple weeks. If you read everything, you know what I mean? More than 275,000 African Americans served in the military during the Vietnam War. More than 7,245 African Americans were killed on active duty. Pretty intense stuff here.
Under fire, the camaraderie and shared sacrifice of the front line transcended the color line.
First AME church.
Huh?
First AME church.
AME?
African Methodist Episcopal.
Oh, okay. New floor?
This is awesome.
Yeah.
This floor was awesome.
This floor was pretty cool. Yeah.
Nice. Is this the
Downstairs was heavier though.
Yeah, it was. But...
Downstairs was heavier, but this floor was good.
Oh, we made it.
We made it. This is Farrakhan Nation of Islam.
When you go to Israel, the Temple Mount.
Alright guys, so we spent like 2 hours on that floor. And still, what,
amazing.
2 more floors?
I don't know how many we have left. But that
Still a few
floor.
more
No, I think this
floors
is the last
upstairs.
one. Because we didn't go to the third one.
Oh, we didn't go to the third
This
floor.
may be the last one.
But I guess
was
this is
amazing.
the top floor, but downstairs, the bottom 3 floors were a lot more heavy, so to speak. But yeah, so let's see what we got here.
You said you wanted home. Now what you gonna do?
This is so true. Movement and social justice. Many African Americans stand, walk, dance, and communicate in gestures that set them apart. Some of these movements express the marks of blackness, liberation, creativity, and provision and self-determination. From the time of slavery to now, African Americans' gesture can be quiet and elusive and vibrant and confident. The body is used to carry important messages in a complex and powerful language. Facts. Gestures. Gestures of solidarity. Gestures of respect. Gestures of play. Gestures of acknowledgement. Facts. Gestures of the small mini leaps. Gestures of defiance or protest. Facts. Facts. Gestures, sacred gestures. Facts. Pretty heavy section right here. Modern day. Soul Train. Wiz. I'm not stepping in the square, thank you very much. I can't step.
Welcome. My name is Artist.
Hi, I'm Brittany.
I'm Jordan, and we are Step Africa.
Step Africa is the first professional dance company dedicated to the art form of stepping. Stepping is a highly energetic, percussive dance.
All right, guys. So, what?
Nothing. I thought the strap was in the way, but it's not.
So there's a museum behind us, guys. Today's visit was great. I really think that I really feel like I should have had this camera in yesterday's visit, because yesterday's visit was a lot heavier and had a lot more heavier content and history behind it. Today was kind of light. A few heavy sections, but for the most part it's kind of light with everything that African Americans went through and all that. Yesterday was more like slavery, heavy emotional type of stuff. Wouldn't you agree?
I would agree.
Yeah, and today was kind of light. So,
I kind of walked out motivated, especially the sports section. That is by far.
Yeah.
I could have spent literally 2 hours in the sports section.
Yeah, you walk out feeling motivated.
Yeah.
With the upper floors, and the lower floors you walk out feeling kind of like sad, kind of sort of. So.
But all of the realization of golly.
Yeah.
We went through a lot. And still go through a lot.
I think, and I've been to a lot of museums, all of the museums in Philly, and I like the Philadelphia Museum of Art, but this is by far like my favorite museum.
I would agree.
And this by far like encompasses a lot of like hit the nail on the head type of, it captures what African American history is like all about.
That was awesome.
Yeah, I think so. This is like by far the most collective. If you want to know about African American history, this is where you gotta come to. African American, white, Chinese, whatever you are, it's in here. The most information in one place, as far as I'm concerned. Closest you're gonna get to this is if you just go visit Africa. And you gotta go visit the whole Africa, and that's like different. This is like American history versus just straight up African if you go to Africa, you know, so. I don't know, might be talking crazy now, so I'm just leave that alone. But guys, thank you for watching. Thank you for being enlightened. If you're not subscribed to the channel, subscribe. It's your boy, King Allan, on all social medias. Make sure you visit the merch store, AllanAWay.com. Buy some channel merch. Make sure you follow me on Facebook.com/A-Dubb. I mean, King A-Dubb. Facebook.com/A-Dubb It's your boy. I'm out. Peace.
That was fast.
Babe, that's the White House. That's the White House. The White House right there. The White House. See that big old thing you gotta go down? That's how you drive into it? Dang. My legs are killing me right now. My thighs feel like I ran miles.
Northwest towards 17th Street Northwest.
Time to go home.
Time to go home.